Hi guys, I just want to try to get you started with your first book lesson. So I'm going to hop in here and take a look. I am in Module 1 in your class, and you can see in Module 1, I have an O1 Start PSD. Click on that to download that O1 Start PSD file. PSD file is a Photoshop file. Then you can see you've got lesson from your book, Getting to Know the Work Area, which is your first chapter. So let's go ahead and check that out. I'm using the Peach Pit Press, and I have an electronic book that I'm going to open up here, and we're going to take a look at this. So if I take a look at the Getting Started, it's going to have some basic information in here for me, but chapter 1 is where I'd really like to start working because that's where my assignment is listed. It will start me off with everything that I'm going to learn from the first lesson in the book. This is what my assignment will look like whenever I'm finished, so I can see what my finished assignment looks like. I can continue to look through the book and find the set of directions, and this book is amazing because it will guide you through every single step. It goes as far as to take you into opening Photoshop for the first time, what a Photoshop file looks like, your home screen, what the display looks like, where your tools are located. So please take the time to look through all of this. It identifies the options bar, where your home screen is located, where your tools panel is located. So this has some really great information for you. As you make your way through the book, whether it is electronic or hard copy, either way, it's pretty much the same thing. I do like the electronic piece because you'll find some video helpers in here, and the video helpers are amazing.
Choose Open from the File menu. Navigate to the Lesson 1 folder and double-click the 01start.psd file to open.
So if you're confused about a piece and you're not sure, I do like the electronic version for this because it will play it through for you. So this is an amazing option for you if you're having a difficult time or maybe you don't understand a step. There are videos in there that can help you. So as we get started, it is going to tell you to go ahead and choose File and Open and go to a certain folder. These are the things that I want to make sure that you understand. You don't actually need to go to that folder because I've already given you the files to start with. So every time it tells you to go to a folder, you will actually start with opening the file that I gave you. Also, sometimes it will address the topic of opening things in a bridge, and that is another option that may or may not work depending if you're on a PC at school or how that works for you. So anytime it's going to give you a set of directions on how to open, if it mentions the bridge, typically what I do if I'm in a face-to-face class, I will open Photoshop and I'll tell the students to go into File and choose Open and open the O1 Start file and then start following the set of directions from there that are listed in the book. So you can see once you start finding these red numbered identifiers, this one says choose File and Open, navigate to your file and open it. So we just did that. So the next thing it's going to have you do is click the double arrows just above the tool panel so that you can see how to use your tools. So if you want your tools in 2 lines or if you want them in 1. So it gives you different options. It takes you through the software as well as taking you through the steps. So if you follow the steps in your book, you're going to learn a lot in there. Take the time and go through the steps that are located in your book. If you have the electronic book, take the time to go through the electronic book and watch some of the videos that will be extremely helpful to you so that you can continue to make your way through. Some of the biggest things that you're going to learn, it's going to talk to you in this chapter about your layers panel and having different layers. When you start this assignment here, you're going to start it with your layers panel having your ribbon and your rows. And under your adjustments, you will add a brightness and contrast adjustment, and you'll follow the steps that it tells you to do so that you make sure that you've got your brightness and your contrast done properly. And when you do that, and then you look back at your layers panel, you will see that you do have a layers panel. Another thing it talks about, which is super important, is the eye. You can turn that eye on, which allows you to see the layer or not see the layer. And another thing about your layers that's important is selecting the right layer when you're working with it. Initially, you will select this rose layer to work with, but afterwards you're going to select the ribbons layer to work with. You'll follow through your book until you get to the end of chapter 1. When you get to the end of chapter 1 and there are no more red numbers to follow. Really love this.
You can change the unit of measure you use to work in Photoshop.
This is important.
This greeting card will be printed, so you'll work in inches. Choose Edit, Preferences, Units and Rulers on Windows, or Photoshop Preferences, Units and Rulers on Mac OS. In the Units section, choose Inches from the Rulers menu and click OK.
It's important to know what unit of measurement you're working in. When you get to the next book assignment, if you don't have your unit of measurement created properly, when you attempt to make the crop, your image will go down to just a teeny tiny pixel. And so you want to make sure that you understand how to do that. Once you no longer have any more steps available to you, and you are at the end of the book chapter, that's when you can submit. I'm going to take a look back at my Blackboard class and see what my set of directions are in order for me to submit my work. As I look in the Blackboard section, it says I need to submit this as a PSD file, a Photoshop file. I'm going to get points for doing my brightness and contrast, points for adding my shape, points for doing the color match and the fill, points for removing the piece of the shape, and points for my text. All of those will add up to earn the 100 points for this particular assignment. Make sure that you submit it as a PSD. If you're not sure how to submit it, you'll click the link, scroll down, browse your local files, and make sure that you find the PSD file. I think at this point it would be called the working file if you're following the steps in your book, and submit that file. I hope this helps you some as you start to open your files and make your way through and try to complete the first assignment. Good luck.